Good evening. Hello, welcome. Merry Christmas to all of our viewers. Right here on the show, over the next few minutes, we are taking you through a familiar story. This is Tacks. My name is Toya, Singh. We're taking a look at a story playing out in Karnataka, where a familiar controversy has got a new facet. The hijab issue. Young students demanding the right to wear their hijab in college and the government opposing it. That is a story that we've watched play out since 2021. Now, it was the BJP that was in power when this story first played out. It's the Congress that's been in power since June this year, so for the last 6 months. Now, the Congress came in with a thumping victory on an agenda that was based on secularity. And so, when the Chief Minister, Siddaramaiah, who you can see behind me, when he announced this Friday that they would take back the hijab ban that the BJP government had put in place, it wasn't entirely surprising. Over the weekend, though, we've watched a very interesting game play out, with the Chief Minister seemingly backtracking and the government saying that they're still mulling this, even though a statement has been made by the Chief Minister himself. Tonight on the show, we are looking to understand what exactly is going on in the state of Karnataka, and is the hijab being used by each of these parties as a political chess piece? Okay. This controversy continues to snowball. The BJP will start with them. They're using it as an opportunity to target the Siddaramaiah government. This is our Motorola tweet of the day. Take a look.
Hello, Moto.
Okay, BJP's Rajiv Chandrasekhar has tweeted this out. He said Rahul's Congress governance is in full display in Karnataka. He's also said here, looting money off the poor, stopping development, appeasing with repeal of conversion law. That's one of the things that they've done. He's also said hijab. These are pillars of the Congress governance. God forbid if any medical calamity happens in the future. So he's essentially hinting at a few things over there. Let's very quickly, we'll keep this in mind. Let's take a look at the timeline of events. Remember, we're also going to focus on the Congress response, how they've reasoned this out. But let's first start by looking at the timeline, everything that's happened. Okay, this story started actually in 2021. We're taking a look, we're taking you right now to the coastal parts of Karnataka. Udupi in particular, for example, where it's in schools in Udupi and around that this issue was first sparked. Hijab-clad students are barred from entering into PSUs in particular. So government-run schools in particular. The Karnataka government issues an order. This is the hijab ban. It's a BJP government that issues it. And I want to point out to you, thousands of students coming out on the streets saying we have the right, we should have the right to practice our choice to wear whatever we want inside the school. Those are the images we're showing you right now. Young women coming out everywhere across the country in support of this story in Karnataka. Now, March, the High Court upholds the ban. It cites that the hijab is not an essential religious practice. Quickly, let's go to what the Supreme Court had to say, because the Supreme Court in their hearing begins this entire hearing, and then they actually deliver a split verdict in this. So they aren't able to see eye to eye on this. We're going to fast forward. The Congress government vows in their manifesto earlier this year that they're going to take this away. All regressive laws, so not specifically the hijab, but all regressive laws they say we're going to take away. And as we are here today, where the Congress government says they're still mulling it. Okay, let's take a deeper dive, then we'll connect with all of our guests.
हिजाब अब वापस तक ये हिजाब ಇಲ್ಲ ಈಗ ಹಿಜಾಬ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಬೋದು ಈಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ ಆದೇಶ ವಾಪಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಕೇಳಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಅದನ್ನ ವಾಪಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು
अरे भाई आप ऑर्डर वापस ले लीजिए और ये ऑर्डर निकालिए कि भाई आप जिसको जो कपड़ा पहनना पहनिए, किस्सा खत्म, बस कोई ड्रेस कोड नहीं होगा, इतना ही निकालना है ऑर्डर इनको।
ಎಲ್ಲ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಬೆಂಬಲವನ್ನು ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಬಿಡಬೇಕು. ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಪಸಂಖ್ಯಾತರನ್ನು ತೃಪ್ತಿಪಡಿಸೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾಳೆ ಲೋಕಸಭಾ ಚುನಾವಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಜನ ತಕ್ಕ ಪಾಠವನ್ನು ಕಲಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಸಹ ಮರೆತು ನೀವು ಈ ರೀತಿ ಮಾತನಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ.
It is a matter in the Supreme Court and you should at least have a patience to wait till the decisions of the Supreme Court to come.
Hello, Moto.
Let's take a look at our guests joining us this evening on our show. Dr. Sudha Halkai, she's a Karnataka BJP spokesperson. Mohammad Farhan, a spokesperson for the AIMIM. Subhashri Mukherjee, a culture and social activist. And Saira Shah Halim, a author. All of them are joining us this evening. Good evening to all of you. Thank you for joining us here on the show. I'd just like to tell you very quickly, we're going to come over to each and every one of you. We'll come to you for two minutes. Get your first response. I want to give everyone a chance to speak. Then we'll take a deeper dive into this story. So we're going to come to you first for quick responses, please. I'm going to go over first to Mohammad Farhan, a spokesperson for the AIMIM. Sir, थोड़ी succinctly बोलेगा. हम पहले आपके पास 2 मिनट के लिए आएंगे, फिर बाद में थोड़े डेप्थ में हम बात करेंगे. मोहम्मद जी, मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहती हूँ और मैं आपसे इसलिए शुरू कर रही हूँ क्योंकि AIMIM के जो लीडर हैं असादुद्दीन ओवैसी, उन्होंने चैलेंज किया है कांग्रेस गवर्नमेंट को. उन्होंने कहा है कि बाहर आके कहिए कि आप बैन को हटाने वाले, पूरी तरह हटाने वाले, ये कहिए. सर, मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहती हूँ, कांग्रेस का ये कहना था कि हम इस इशू को और गहराई से देखना चाहते हैं पहले. टेल मी सर, इसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है? अगर कांग्रेस का ये कहना है कि हमें 2-3 महीने लगेंगे, सर इसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम है?
देखिए, कांग्रेस पार्टी हमेशा धोखे की सियासत करती है, छलावे की राजनीति करती है. वही चीज सामने निकल के कर्नाटक में आया. अब मैं ये बात एक पॉइंट आउट करना चाहूंगा कि वहां की जो मुस्लिम तंजीमें हैं, जो उलमाए दीन हैं, या जो और भी वहां के मुस्लिम समुदाय के मानिंद लोग हैं, अब जो कल तक हम पर ये कह रहे थे कि हम तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के एजेंट हैं और आकर यहाँ पर वोटों का ध्रुवीकरण कर रहे हैं, अब उनके मुंह में दही जम गई है क्या? वो बोले ना उस बात को लेकर के, जो हम पर तनकीद कर रहे थे, हमें भाजपा के एजेंट बता रहे थे और हमारी कही हुई बातों को गलत ठहरा रहे थे कि आप कांग्रेस को हराने और बीजेपी को जिताने आए हैं. अब 6 महीने से ज्यादा का वक्त हो चुका है. सीतारमैया साहब ने खुद कहा था, अब कहने के बाद अब वो अपनी बातों को पलट गए हैं, ऑर्डर को नहीं पास कर पा रहे हैं. अब वो बता रहे हैं कि ये मामला कोर्ट में है. हम जानते हैं ये मामला कोर्ट में है, मगर आपको अभी हाई कमान, मतलब चाहे राहुल जी कह लीजिए, प्रियंका जी कह लीजिए या सोनिया जी कह लीजिए, उनकी तरफ से अभी आपको हरी झंडी नहीं मिल रही है. और ना मिलने का सिर्फ एक ही कारण है, पार्लियामेंट चुनाव.
एक प्रश्न आपसे यहाँ पे, अगर उन्होंने कहा ये एक बहुत ही सेंसिटिव इशू है इसलिए हमें समय चाहिए, सर तब क्या कहेंगे आप? बताइए.
अच्छा मैडम, ये बताइए कहाँ से सेंसिटिव इशू हो गया? आपका ड्रेस कोड, आपकी चॉइस.
बिल्कुल.
अगर आप सलवार सूट पहन के, एक मिनट मैडम प्लीज, अगर आप सलवार सूट पहनकर डिबेट करना चाहें तो कौन आपको रोक सकता है? मैं कोट शर्ट पहन के डिबेट कर रहा हूं.
नहीं सर, मैं आपसे डिसएग्री नहीं कह रही हूं. मैं सर कांग्रेस ने जो कहा है वही कह रही हूं.
कहां से हो गया?
I don't disagree with you at all. Sir, let me just go over to our other panelists also. I want to go over now to the social activist Saira Shah Halim. I'm sorry, I'd like to correct myself. Saira, sorry, sir, एक सेकंड, हम आपके पास वापस आएंगे. हमें हर पैनलिस्ट के पास आना है. Saira, I'm sorry, I misidentified you. You're an author. Saira, if you can tell our audiences, I do want to understand from you. First, you've watched this entire story play out. Now we're watching what's being called a U-turn by some. Again, we can debate whether or not that's the correct phrasing. But Siddaramaia's one statement on Friday, over the weekend there's been a different statement. Other government leaders like the Home Minister coming forward and saying we need to mull over this. What does that make you feel? How do you react to this?
Firstly, the designation is perfectly all right because I'm a social activist as well. So thank you so much. I feel the Congress is dilly-dallying on the matter. You see, because the Congress came to power 7 months ago. And if the state government has will to lift the hijab ban, it doesn't take more than 30 minutes to actually give out a decree and tell the state administration, tell the people concerned that we're lifting the ban. Because here we have seen how the students have suffered because the girls were made to choose between hijab or an education, which is unfortunate. Because we've seen how the BJP government has taken very, very divisive decisions in the middle of exams, when students are just about to face an exam, then you impose a hijab ban and you start talking about uniform. I don't think it is fair on the students because we've seen how the minority section anyway find it very challenging to seek out an education. They come from very conservative families, some of the girls. And for them, hijab is the only reason why the parents allow the girl to come out and study. And if you're going to make a dress code an impediment for the girl to receive an education, it is highly unfortunate. So I feel the BJP has far grievous issues that they can dabble with, far, far more serious and contentious issues that they can be, what you call spending their time upon, rather than, laying out diktats on what they should wear to college or what they should not wear to school or college. I think it is highly unfortunate. There's never been any problem if Sikh students wear a turban or not wear a turban. So suddenly, why is a hijab becoming such a sore point? I really don't understand the issue is.
Okay.
So far, all these years, it's never been a hurdle. It's never been an impediment. And suddenly they realize, no. It is, something that is divisive. There should be a dress code. Yes.
So,
they are wearing a dress code.
So, Saira, I'm correct in summarizing. 1 second, I'm correct in summarizing that you and Mohammed ji do see eye to eye. आप दोनों सहमत हैं इस पे. Let me just tell our audiences that both of you are making the same point here. The Congress is dilly-dallying. The Congress made certain promises. They seem to be backtracking on that. Mohammed ji, आपका भी यही कहना था that the Congress is backtracking and going away from their promises. Let me go over very quickly to the two other panelists we have because I want to get that first word in before we carry on. Let's go over to Subhashri Mukherjee. She's a cultural and social activist. Subhashri ji, before I come over to you, let me just tell our audiences, there is data that has come out now since this entire issue first started and since the Karnataka government announced this ban. There is data about the number of Muslim female students in attendance. And it shows that though that number of students remains consistent, students dropped out of PSUs and they converted in large numbers to private universities and private colleges, seemingly as a result of that ban, because that ban was applicable to PSUs. So there is hard data to support some of what the panelist who was just speaking, Saira, was saying, that it does seem to some degree to have been an impediment to those young women who are looking for education. Let's go over right now to Subhashri Mukherjee. She's a cultural and social activist who's with us. Subhashri ji, we've seen this whole thing play out. How do you look at it? How do you look at this, again, I'm going to say supposed U-turn of the Congress government? Do you think that they should be doing more at this moment?
Okay, to be very frank with you and to start with, let's deep dive into this matter. Back in the 1970s, the hijab was brought into Islam, and since then it is not a mandate that the women have to wear a hijab. It is an obligatory thing to be done in Islam. And taking the current juncture in context, I think there is no necessity to bring up this issue, especially from a political party and a pressure group, to create pressure on the government to bring up this issue, because more than anything, this will confuse the students. This will confuse the community. This will confuse the society. We are in a progressive era and we are talking of women empowerment today. So how can this be regressive that we are actually trying to bring something which will not hide the identity of women, rather will let them flourish, wear what they want to wear and look as they want to look.
Okay.
Now,
one second. Ms. Mukherjee, I do want to ask you a counter question there, and there's going to be more than enough time to go into depth on this, so don't worry. But I do want to ask you, ma'am, there is a certain feminist viewpoint that argues that who are we to decide what is regressive and is not regressive? A full covering like a hijab, who are we to decide that more exposure is progressive and less exposure is conservative? Who are we to make those decisions? Ma'am, to that, what would you have to say?
See, in 1979, when this hijab thing started, there were hundreds and thousands of women flooding the streets of Iran, saying that this cannot be imposed on us, and we want freedom from hijab. Now, the feminists who actually cater to the view that this is like whether it is conservative,
that every woman has
or
their own choice to decide what they want to wear.
Yes, of course. But when you are going to an educational institution, when you are going to a professional area, when you are going to a place where you want to deliver something in a certain process, in a certain method, under some certain rules, at that point, you cannot impose your individual choice. Okay? So whether it's not the question of a feminist or a socialist or a cultural...
Okay, ma'am, 1 second. I get your point, and I do need to move on to our last panelist, but I will ask you this question and then we'll come back to you for more. I do want to ask you, what do we then say for... This is because this is what the other panelists were saying. What about a turban? What about a Mangal Sutra? Those two are religious symbols. So I'll come back to you for an answer on that. Let's go to Dr. Sudha, who's with us also. Ma'am, thank you for joining us. Ma'am, this debate has almost become, are hijabs okay or not okay, when that's not what we're looking at right now. We're looking at if the the Congress is dilly-dallying at all on something they said they'd brought in, very different from the BJP government, yours, which was in power earlier. Ma'am, what do you think? Do you think they're dilly-dallying?
The present Congress government has got the sinister design of creating a rift in the children's. They are just trying to draw a curtain to close all the burning issues, to divert all the burning issues of Karnataka, the drought, the darkness of Karnataka, the assault on women, the inhuman acts which is being done by the teachers or by the for the Dalit students and whatnot. There's a list of downsizing of Karnataka, which is for which the Congress government is responsible today. And by they have been doing this diversion politics earlier also when there was raid in the IT raid in the contractors' houses. Then also they had done this diversion politics. Today also they are doing the diversion politics just to, I told you, to draw a curtain on all the burning issues of Karnataka. That's it. And one is the vote bank politics, one is the appeasement politics for upcoming parliament elections.
Little bit of a clarification. No, I'm not stopping you. Little bit of a clarification I want to ask you for. So are you saying that the backtracking is diversionary, or the fact that they made the statement in the first place was, what are you calling diversionary?
See, the statement, what they choose the statement whenever it is profitable for them, according to their need, according to the situations, whenever they want to divert the present situation of Karnataka, they get in this topic. Okay. Otherwise, there is no need for him to speak on this issue at all. There are so many, I'm telling you, their farmers have committed suicide. The STSC funds have been transferred for the freebies of these people and for the minorities, and the scholarship amount which was supposed to be given for the children of the construction laborers, 90% it is slashed. Okay. There is no justice in Karnataka to anybody today.
One second, I got your point, Doctor. Your point is essentially diversionary tactic. I do want to ask you, Doctor, one quick question from you. The thousands of young women, frankly, young men too, who came out in support of the people who were protesting the ban. So back when the BJP had banned it, when it was the Karnataka government, do you not think that this is an issue that concerns them? And for the Karnataka Congress government that has said they care about minorities, this is actually a relevant issue?
No, absolutely. This is not a relevant issue. I'll tell you, there's a comprehensive education policy which was bought, and according to that, every institution has its rights to the uniform dress code of their own particular institution. So they shouldn't get religion into the institution. A dress code signifies the dignity of any decorum, take it any profession. I've told earlier also in many debates that advocate cannot wear a white coat and a doctor cannot wear a black coat.
How do we decide which religious pieces we are allowing and which we aren't, though? Doesn't that open that same conversation the Supreme Court was looking at?
Okay, tell me, what other religious practices have been followed in the uniforms?
We were talking...
Who else has got it?
I can talk about the turban.
Okay, ma'am. In fact, why don't I actually instead of me answering that, why don't I let one of the two guests who are with us answer that? Sarah,
just a minute. Just a minute. Just 2 seconds.
I'll make it very clear.
Ma'am, 1 second. This is a debate.
Sarah, do go ahead. Yeah. So, firstly, let me make it very clear to the other panelists as well that hijab, headscarf is a fundamental right guaranteed in the Article 14 and Article 25 of the Constitution of India. And if people believe that it's an essential practice of Islam, nobody in their right mind should question it. If a woman says that this is an intrinsic part of my belief, I don't think any person outside the faith has that right to determine whether a hijab or no hijab is a part of an essential practice. And I feel here, the government, the Bharatiya Janata Party, the BJP government, try to deflect, the attention from core issues of the country, dabbling and the girls of Karnataka, because here I'm already stated that it is really challenging for girls, especially from the minority community, to go out in the world and seek an education. You don't want to burden them. You don't want to be an impediment to their education. You should encourage them that, fine, if hijab is the issue with your family, you go and take an education with the hijab. The girl should not be a burden that they need to choose between education and a hijab. That's all I want to say.
Let's go to Dr. Sudha. You were quiet while that was taking place. Thank you. Do give your response, and then I want to go to our other panelists. Do go ahead.
Yeah. I just want to ask: is there no due respect to the verdict given by the High Court? The High Court has gone to the depth of the issue and it has given a verdict that hijab is not a religious practice. And our chief architect of constitution, Pujya Ambedkar ji, also has stated that the process of emancipation is hindered when a woman takes up a parda or a hijab. Why we are not giving equal rights to all the children in our state to
But
be uniform?
ma'am, data shows, and I can bring that data up in a few minutes if you like, data shows that students did actually move out from PSUs into private universities because of this announcement. Well, you can't obviously make a conclusion like that, but it came around that
It is there.
announcement.
No. I go with the law of the land. I have the respect for the verdict given by the High Court. They have gone into the depth of the situation and they have given this statement. There are so many burning issues in Karnataka which has to be attended today. Was this issue necessity to be raked up? It is just to
Okay.
spoil the healthy, peaceful atmosphere of Karnataka. They are spoiling the law and order of Karnataka. The law and order of Karnataka is collapsed today. The peace and harmony of this healthy state is collapsed today, and that is what they are doing. There is no progress, not a single development in Karnataka today.
Okay.
And
Doctor,
Sidramai goes in a
Doctor,
charter
I do
plane.
need to
He
go to
goes in
the
a charter plane
the other
instead of
people we have on our
helping
channel.
the drought.
Let me go over to Mohammad Farhan ji, spokesperson of the AIM, AIMIM. Sir, मैं आपके पास आई नहीं. मोहम्मद जी, आप हमारे साथ हैं? हाँ. मोहम्मद जी, आप हमें बता सकते हैं, आपने सुना अलग-अलग लोगों की प्रतिक्रियाएं. आपके क्या रिस्पॉन्स है इस पे, बोलिए.
देखिए मैडम, मैं एक बात कहना चाहूंगा कि उत्तर वैदिक काल में धर्म ही संविधान हुआ करता था, और जो राजा हुआ करता था वो भगवान का प्रतिनिधि हुआ करता था. हर व्यक्ति का अपना धर्म और अपना संविधान. तब तो संविधान था नहीं, तो अब हर आदमी अपने अपने धर्म के अनुसार वेशभूषा और उसके बाद कल्चर और फिर उसके बाद तमाम और जो चीजें रहीं उस हिसाब से काम करता था. जब संविधान लिखा गया इसीलिए उस चीज को उत्तर वैदिक काल की जो पौराणिक चीज थी जिस पर हमारा पूरा संविधान का स्ट्रक्चर भी है, तो उसमें क्या हुआ, आर्टिकल 21, आर्टिकल 19 और आर्टिकल 25 इस चीज को मेंशन किया गया. मैडम मेरी बात सुनिएगा, मैं बहुत महत्वपूर्ण बात बता रहा हूँ. मेंशन किया गया इसी चीज को लेकर के. अब आप छोटी सी बात, आप बहुत इंटेलेक्चुअल जर्नलिस्ट हैं, एक अच्छी एंकर हैं. आप सोचिए, मैं बीजेपी के प्रवक्ता को भी कहता हूँ, अब आप देखिए नागा साधु जो हिंदू समाज में है वो निर्वस्त्र रहते हैं, उनकी अपनी धार्मिक स्वतंत्रता है. जैन जो मुनि हुए वो निर्वस्त्र रहते हैं, उनकी अपनी धार्मिक स्वतंत्रता है. कभी कोई मुसलमान, कभी कोई क्रिश्चियन, कभी कोई सिख क्या हाई कोर्ट या सुप्रीम कोर्ट गया कि नहीं है कपड़ा पहन के रहना चाहिए, इससे हमारी जो भारतीय संस्कृति है उस पे बहु बेटियों या बच्चों पर गलत असर पड़ा? कभी नहीं गया. क्योंकि उनका कल्चर है, उस कल्चर को फॉलो कर रहे हैं, हमें कोई आपत्ति नहीं. बल्कि अगर कभी वो रोड पर निकलते हैं तो तमाम समाज के लोग उनका स्वागत ही करते हैं, कभी उसका विरोध नहीं करते. अब मैं दूसरा पॉइंट आपको बता रहा हूँ, अगर इसका उल्टा
थोड़ा सा हमारे पास समय की कमी है, but I would like to thank sir, sorry, we are done with our show right now. I would like to thank each of the panelists for joining us. I would like to point out we did try to contact the Congress. We are talking about them right now. They did not come on the show this evening for this debate. But with that, we are drawing our show to the close. Thank you for staying with us over the last few minutes, and right